situatie. Ik hoop dat er niks misgaat met de apparatuur, maar het zal goed komen.
Als het iets mis is, ook niet.
Nee, dat is gewoon niet. Ja, dat scheelt hè. Stemt ons ook weer gerust.
Nee, ik vind het juist leuk om het een beetje informeel te doen.
Ja, dat is goed. Dat trekt mensen ook meer. Tenminste, dat vinden mensen ook leuker.
Ja. Maar jullie hebben ook een bevrijdingsfestival in Leeuwarden.
Sorry?
Jullie hebben ook een bevrijdingsfestival in Leeuwarden.
Ja, maar ik heb wel in Groningen. Ik kom zelf altijd Groningen. Of tenminste, daar woon ik nu. Ik kom oorspronkelijk uit Ommen. En nu zat het toch net wat groter.
Ommen of Ommen?
Ommen.
Ommen.
Ommen, met een M, twee M'en. Ja, dat kleine Ommen. Ik heb eerst American Studies gedaan aan de rug, maar dat beviel niet. Maar toen woonde ik daar al en ik vond Groningen eigenlijk heel leuk. Dus ik had zoiets, ja, waarom zou ik dan hierheen verhuizen?
Ja.
Ik heb daar naar mijn zin heb. Dus ja, zo doen we.
Deze studie is wel de studie die je wil doen.
Ja, het is allemaal net iets praktischer. Ook qua gewoon met opdrachten en zo. En bij American Studies is er heel veel lezen.
Ja.
Dan vind ik dit wat leuker.
Wetenschappelijk.
Ja, het verschil merk je wel heel erg. Maar American Studies schijnt wel een van de beste studies van de rug te zijn.
Oh.
Dus dat op zich is natuurlijk jammer dat ik het niet meer doe, maar... Ja, en dat is wel om eerlijk te zijn, niet verwacht dat het zo vol zou worden. Omdat, ja, je merkt het dus ook al een beetje voor de vakantie, dan worden mensen toch wat lakser, omdat ze het hebben van ach, het is bij de vakantie.
Allemaal schaars.
Het is echt allemaal verschillend. Van andere studies ook, niet eens een studie. Het is volgens mij echt van alles wat.
Jij ook even de quiz aan wilde kondigen.
De quiz.
Ja, want hij wil dat natuurlijk
Voor vanavond.
promoot hebben, ja.
Oké. Ik weet niet zo goed wat ik over moet zeggen. Aan het eind?
Ja, nou hij zei
Aan het eind is wel beter. Toch?
Ja, ook altijd. En dan moet hij zorgen echt dat even fluisteren. Geluid, alles doet het, hè?
Maar wat moet ik daarover zeggen dan? Maar ja, ik zeg wel wat en ze zien maar wat ze ermee kunnen. Kelly, moet ik dan nu met de microfoon praten of gewoon nou luid praten?
Ja, die handheld.
Ik weet niet hoe dat ding werkt. Ik ben een beetje van dat ding handen.
En ben jij dan eerst?
Ik ben derdejaars.
Ja.
Ja, wij zijn met z'n vieren die het organiseren, derdejaars. En dan mensen die foto's maken en camera doen zijn ook derdejaars. Er komen nog steeds mensen naar binnen, Kelly. Kelly, anders nog een rij daarvoor maken. Want er komen nog steeds mensen binnen. Hoe laat is het nu inmiddels? 10:30 bijna. uiteraard.
Deze is al aan. Ja, check. Zo dat?
Ja. Hallo? Hello everyone. First of all, thank
Ja, het is om. Nou gaat er iets verkeerd met de computer. Ik heb geen verbinding met de computer. Klikken.
Zit een kabel er wel in?
Nou, hier zit een kabel in. Daar zit een kabel in.
Probeer hem nog gewoon heel in en uit te doen.
Kan je nog even komen kijken? Ja.
Daar is hij. Inloggen.
Inloggen.
Lilian.
Lilian? Oh, dat was spannend.
We kennen jouw inlogcode niet.
Nog niet.
Okay. I want to start with a movie. It's the after movie of our last festival.
Altijd feest, altijd sprankelend hier ook. Altijd lieve, nuchtere, mooie mensen. Ik heb altijd naar mijn zin in Groningen.
Hier is de ambassadeur van de vrijheid. Go back!
Wat fijn dat we met z'n allen kunnen zijn om de vrijheid te vieren.
Ja, kun je hem... Oh. Ja, maar ik wil straks terug. Kan je de website even vragen? Goed, hello everybody. I'm not used to talk English in my daily life, so maybe I have to need some help from somebody in the room to translate the things I want to tell. I'm Diederik van der Meijden. I'm the director of the Bevrijdingsfestival in Groningen. Next year it will be the 17th time I'll organize it. And it started 70 years ago as a quite small festival, and as you can see, it's now quite a big festival. And there's also a Bevrijdingsfestival in Leeuwarden and in 12 other places in the Netherlands. In every city capital of the province there's a festival. Probably there are 1 million people attending a Bevrijdingsfestival in the Netherlands, and so it's probably the biggest festival, although on 14 places in our country. It's a special festival. It's not a pop festival, although there's a lot of pop music in it. But the idea of the festival is not music, but the liberation of the Netherlands in 1945. I'll come to that later. I want to talk about the festival with you in 8 chapters, I think 8 chapters, about us, what we want to do, what's our mission, about the people who work at the festival, the board, about the music and the other programming of the festival, about a lot of practical production things in the festival, and last but not least the PR, where probably you are interested in. It will be boring if I'm going to talk during about 1 hour and you are not going to ask any questions. So I like it very much if you interrupt me if you have a question. Kunnen we even naar de website en dan over ons, about us. This is in Dutch, in text. It's why we are organizing the festival, and that's quite a difficult thing. Probably the most difficult thing in our festival is not just programming music and ask people to come, but we want to that all the people who are at the festival, who are coming at the festival, which are about 100,000 people. That they know that there's a special reason to celebrate the liberation. And so we want to give the people who are attending something between their ears, in their minds, that it's important that we live in a free country, which is not everywhere the case in the world. So the starting point is 1945, the liberation of Holland from the Second World War. But it's not only about the past, it's also about the present and probably about the future too. It started in 1987 when then there was people in The Hague, the government were thinking that if people who lived during the war were not able to tell the stories about the war, that the importance of the fact that we are living in a free country will not have enough emphasis. So they asked themselves, how can we get the younger people interested in the Second World War and in the thoughts that are important. And in Haarlem and also in Groningen, there, a few years earlier, there were organized some pop festivals. So the National Committee, 4th and 5th of May, 4th and 5th of May, thought it would be wise to organize a festival with pop music as a trigger, to think, to get people together, to celebrate the end of the war and of course the future and the past. But it's difficult to get this thought between the ears and minds of the people who are attending, because they are coming for the music, they are coming for Kensington, they are coming for Ali Bey, even Ali Bey. And so we are, our message, we are trying to, not in a very, in a light way, not a very heavy way, to confront people with smaller thoughts, games, things, texts that are important. Any questions so far? Yes?
If you want, most of the people in the Netherlands know the reason behind the festival. Why did you choose to only put your website in Dutch and not in English?
It is in English too. You can, I think you can, there is I can't see it over here, but there is a possibility to, and even in German, of course, because we also invite all the German people to celebrate our liberation from the Germans. So, yeah, okay, yeah, well, yeah, it's very a good question, but yes, of course. And Groningen is, of course, a very international city with a lot of students, and it's important to attract those people also. But the most complicated thing for us is how to bring a message, not in a boring way, not in a heavy way, but so that everyone will know, okay, this is not just some pop festival, it's the Liberation Festival of Groningen. We are being funded by the national government, the provincial government and the city of Groningen. But we have one very big sponsor, and that is the audience. We have about a budget of about 1 million euros to spend, and of course we have to earn a lot of this money on May the 5th. I will come back to that later. But because it's a thing we do as a stichting, stichting is a foundation in English, I think. We don't have a profit mission, so we are having subsidies from the government, but that's not enough to organize the festival. It's very big. It's very. We need very much all the euros from our visitors. That's our mission. We have. We work with a lot of people, but the most important of those people, that's me, of course. I'm the director. And everybody in the festival is paid. We call them volunteers, but even people who are working at selling drinks and food are paid by us, so there are no real volunteers, except for the people who are in the board, the bestuur, and that's the only people who are they are controlling me, and that's the only people who are not getting any profits from the festival. Of course, when we have a meeting 4 or 5 times a year, we will give them a nice dinner, but for the rest, it's a very professional festival. We have a staff about, you can see the names over here, about 10 or 15 people who are every day, how do we call it, ZZP'ers, you know that, all people who talk English, ZZP'ers, eenpitters, freelancers. And they're working with, not only in our festival, but with a lot of other festivals. So a lot of people in Groningen are earning their money in organizing, working at festivals. Which is quite new, because when I started, I'm a little bit older, 35 years ago, I was the only one who was not engaged in a formal cultural organization. So I feel like the first freelancer in Groningen in the cultural sector. I did a lot of festivals. I organized Noorderzon, music festivals, opening of the Groningen Museum, a lot of different cultural festivals and events. But we have a small flexible group of freelancers who are working. The most important are the people who are having the contacts with the music industry, Peter Sikkema and Joey Ruchti. They're programming the main stage and urban area. They are working at the Oosterpoort, which is the biggest pop podium in Groningen. And they have daily contact with marketeers, people from the managers from pop groups. So they are very known in the world because they are organizing Eurosonic Noorderslag, and they have a lot of contacts. The other people are have less contacts in the music world, more on the local and the provincial or national scale, but we program quite a lot of international acts. So it's very important to have a festival that has, because there are 13 or even more bevrijdingsfestivals in the country, you need to make a difference with the rest of the festivals. We don't want to be like Assen or Zwolle or The Hague or Rotterdam. We want to be a bit different. And the people, Peter and Joey, are playing a big role in that because they have a lot of international contacts, also because of Eurosonic. So that's why how we differ from the rest. Probably, but I don't know, that's also the reason why we are quite popular. There are a lot of people because our programming is very good. It's also very costly because I think we will spend 200,000 euros every year on artists. Of course, we have someone for publicity, for personnel. We have probably 300 or 350 people working at our festival on May the 5th. Of course, not in the days before and after. That is a group of 30, 40, 50 people. But it's a lot of organization only for one day or even 12 hours. It's also a very big risk to organize a festival on one day, during one day a year. 2 years ago, in 2015, we had to, there was a big storm with a lot of rain coming to us, so we had to end the program for 1 hour and a half, which is of course very difficult to do because you have to tell the people that they have to go because for their own safety. It was a very good lesson for us to know what to do if you have to ask the people to go. It's to evacuate the people is very a very difficult thing to do. So, but now we have some experience how to do that. A big advantage of our festival is that we have a very good and solid and safe area. I will show you later on a map where how we deal with all those masses of people, exits, entrances, etc. We are also the most important assets for our festival are the income from beer and patat, friet. And we are not in Leeuwarden. The festival is not organizing it themselves, but they have a pachter. How do you call it in English? A pachter. Does everyone know that? Someone who is doing the work for you, so it's out. A contractor, yes, a contractor probably. So that the money you earn as a festival is not coming to the stichting, the foundation itself, which I think is not a very wise thing to do, because it's going about a lot of money. But it's a very big organization. What I told you, 300 people working to sell the coins, to sell the beer, etc. Apart from the festival itself, we are organizing some other events. There are freedom colleges. We organize it with the University of Groningen and the Hans Hogeschool to talk about the theoretical aspects of freedom. We ask lecturers to talk with the audience, but we also go to a lot of schools in the province of Groningen, to the VMBO scholen, third class, where we talk with young people about the importance of freedom and the importance of living in a free country, etc. That's a very difficult thing to do, with to talk with those young people. There are a lot of prejudices about our society, but the discussions are very nice to follow, but also very harsh sometimes for people who are in the class. Okay, that's the organization. Any questions about the organization? Yes.
Yes, referring back to your organization, what's the person doing, who's responsible for programming, artistic productivity and office?
Who's responsible for that?
Yeah, Marike.
Yes, yes, he is.
Is that not the same like the persons who are like programming the main station, the urban area?
The programming means that you're asking artists to come, so that's an artist production is not asking them to come, but if they come, organizing that they have the rider they ask, the technical rider, the catering rider, which are the most important things for artists, and she's preparing for the day itself the dressing rooms that are the right things in the dressing rooms, and the technical things also, that the stage plan, etc. is delivered to our sound company.
And the
The button, that's the debating. We are, what I just told, we are going into the province of Groningen to all schools to talk with students about what freedom means to them, what a multicultural society means, etc.
And the informatimat is just receiving information?
Yeah, we have, it's a kind of market in the festival where a lot of non-NGOs and non-governmental organizations like Watch Out, like political parties, etc. are giving information to the audience. More questions about the organization? Okay, Ho? Okay, now we are going to, the programming. Last year we had a special edition of the festival because every year the National Start, it's a bit peculiar name, is in one of the festivals in Holland. And so last year the Prime Minister, Mark Rutte, went to Groningen and came to Groningen to open the festival. With Ali B, you saw it in the video, in the after movie. It's a nice thing because you are having more publicity, more papers, more radio and TV stations are telling that he is coming and at our festival. So we profit from that by having more people. I already told about, oh yeah, this is an important thing. We have there is a relationship in Holland between the 4th of May and the 5th of May. On the 4th of May, there's at 8 o'clock in the evening, there's a commemoration of the people who died during the Second World War. And people are during 2 minutes, they don't talk. It's 2 minutes silence. It's a nice tradition since 48, I mean. And we wanted to have the same tradition on the May the 5th because it's a very strong moment. So someone from Idea TV in Hilversum came up with the idea to organize an event. It's called 545, 545 at 16.55. All the festivals make a statement with the audience, with music, with a short movie, with someone on the stage. In most of the times it's a refugee telling in a few words what he or she went through on the flee. And it's a very joyful moment where we ask everybody to dance on the music we play. So that's a kind of moment where everybody at the festival feel a kind of community sense that it's important to celebrate the May the 5th. More programming is that we always try to mix the content of the May the 5th with the music, which is not easy to do. But in the urban area we have Dutch artists, rappers, who are very much aware of the text they use. And some of them, well, some of the texts are not very, how do you call that? Are not very interesting, but some are. And we are trying to interview the artists before they are going to perform backstage with students from an academy like yours. They interview the artists what freedom means to them. And that's a nice thing to combine music and the essence of the May the 5th. Oh yeah. 12 years ago, we also had the Prime Minister in our festival, and after evaluating his visit, we concluded that the goal of our foundation is to involve every citizen, every person living in the province of Groningen with May the 5th. But a lot of people are not interested in music or pop music or in the city of Groningen or in a lot of crowds. So if you want to involve all the 500,000 of people living in the province, you have to do something else than organizing this festival. So it was quite difficult to develop a plan how to do that, but in the end we came with the idea that every year we are cooperating with one community, one gemeente in the province. There are about 20 gemeentes in the province of Groningen, and we work together with this one community, with the major, with the schools, with the people who are walking to get the fire from Wageningen, which is, I have to explain. In Wageningen, the peace was signed in 1945 in a hotel over there, and since 1984 there was a fire, which is the symbol also of freedom and probably fight, was spread over the Netherlands from Wageningen. So during, I think about 10 or 15 years ago, we started also to pick up the fire in Wageningen and asking people to walk from Wageningen to Groningen, which is about 200 kilometers, quite far, but they are doing it in an estafette and not alone. And now we ask this community where we cooperate with every year. Last year it was the gemeente Pekela. Next year will be the gemeente Oldambt. To get the fire from Wageningen, to bring it to Groningen, to our main stage, to light the fire in front of all the people, and at the end of the evening to blow out the fire and bring the fire back the next year. So it's also a kind of tradition, a kind of statement we want the people to beleven, to experience, yes. So, do we have more content? I need, the National Committee for May the 5th asked us also about 10 years ago to organize a Plein of de Vrijheid, which is a stage that, well, it's a plein, is a square in our festival, in our park, and there to facilitate people who are who are an NGO, a non-governmental organization, and want to tell something to the audience. But we also want to mix. We always want to mix music and May the 5th. So we started to program music also on this square of the freedom, square of freedom. So now it's a music stage with organizations together. No questions? No? Okay. One of the, something went wrong. We have one small act, a theatrical act. It's called Mensenzoo. It's a mix of an English and a Dutch word. Zoo is a dierentuin. Mens, human, so a human zoo. Mens and zo, and it's about prejudices of people. There are, like in a zoo, there's not an animal, but a person sitting in a kind of cage. And you can interrogate this person who is a kind of a special person. For instance, a homosexual or a referent or a Polish worker or a mother who is having not a lot of money. And there are conversations between the audience, the people who visit us, and the people who are sitting in those cages. So that's one smaller example of how we want to bring some essence, May the 5th thoughts for our audience. Okay. Of course, we have music, and This is the lineup of last year, I think. Yeah, and we decided to a few years ago to have more than one stage because we want to have everybody who's liking music and everybody who's liking festivals to be with us. So we have to differentiate in stages. So there's people who love pop or dance or urban or Dutch or even Groningen music. And we also have a programming for our kids and also for more not Western music. It doesn't work like this. Yeah. Podium Noord is more provincial, local Dutch language music. Local heroes are smaller bands, starting bands from our city and the neighboring communities. And the Plein van de Vrijheid is, I just told you about the mix of NGO's and music from the not Western world. Okay, we also have a lot of, if you are, any questions so far? Yeah?
There are quite a few big artists on there.
Yeah.
I believe you share them with the rest of Holland.
Sometimes we do,
Yeah.
sometimes we don't.
How do you arrange that logistically? Because you have to cooperate with the National Air Force.
Yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
do you do that?
Well, that's a difficult point because we have 4 acts, I think, or 3 or 4 acts who are flying all the day of the May 5th from 4 or 5 places with a helicopter. It is a risk, but it's possible to do. And for the main stage, we have sometimes we cooperate with. Waarom doet hij dat niet? Last year we were the only one who was having the Lumineers. It's an act from America, and we want this act only to be at our festival. It's not cheaper if you cooperate with the festival, so they just want twice the amount they ask for. But sometimes you want to have an act which is only for your own festival because you want to be different than the other festivals. Yes?
But I thought there was another company, the overall Bevrijdingsfestival, who choose the ambassadors of.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Yes.
they are flying to.
Yeah. But we can talk about it with all the festivals, with all the 14 festivals. Which Dutch acts we want to be in the helicopter, but the national committee decides what's possible, and of course the Minister of Defense with the helicopters have to check if it's possible to organize. And sometimes we have acts we do together with other festivals, but it's different. It's not like our board asked us the last year if it's not possible that the artists are playing for nothing, but that's not a thing the artists want to do. It's the other way around. They ask more on May the 5th because there's a lot of festivals who want to have the best acts, so the prices of the acts are rising, and they are very high. During the last 10 years, I think they were quadrupled the prices because the income of the artists are mainly now from performing and not from selling CDs and LPs and things like that. We pay, if you are interested, between €50 and 50,000 euros for acts. Yes?
And how many of the artists are international and how many are national?
I think that's only, 10 10 of the artists, of the 50, we have 50 artists, I think 10 are international. And I think 25 are local and the rest is national. Okay, then we are going to the practical things of our. I need to. Oh yeah, the plattegrond. Yeah, this is the map of our festival. You can see on the left is. The big blue part is a racing course for horses. It's a very big area. The Rolling Stones performed there some 20 years ago. There were, I think, 80,000 people. Last year, during Kensington performance, there were probably 30,000 people, and it was very crowded. Also because the urban area is also on the same spot where, on the big area, it's a big tent where also there are probably 7,000 or 8,000 people. And it's very important to see for the entrances and security. We have 2 entrances for the audience. You can see them with the black arrows. And there are 2 emergency exits. And 2 years ago, when we had this storm and thunder, there were about 10 or 15,000 people during the Chef Special performance. They had to flee and they went everywhere, but it took half an hour for people to go to the building, which is over here, Martina Plaza. You can always see there's a very big, like the VEC in Leeuwarden, a very big place where people can hide if there's a kind of safety problem. But it's a long walk from the area to Martini Plaza. Our main entrance is to the right. There's the Concourslaan. You can see that's the road where everybody's walking. It's very crowded. We used to have at the side of the road. We used to have our market for the NGOs, but it's now not safe enough because we need more space, 12 meters for if there's an incident. And it's when it's so crowded, it takes half an hour to walk from the entrance to the main stage. So if you have to evacuate your festival, you can imagine that it's quite difficult with all those people. And there's a bottleneck because this grain line is the city ring for cars, and it's very small, so it's only 8 meters wide, and the rest of the road is 12 meters. So it's a kind of bottleneck, which is a bit jammer.
But that sounds really dangerous.
It's not pretty dangerous, but it's something we have to take in our minds. So we have to have people over there that people not are going like police and security employees.
Because you don't sound so satisfied.
I don't sound so satisfied.
Yeah.
Well, I see danger with so many people. We had for the last decade there are some people who are going to die because of organizing a festival. Maybe you remember Dortmund or other places where some heavy things happened. So we take in mind with the police to make it as safe as possible. But it is very safe because you can see not very good in this map, but we have fences in our area of the main stage and urban area. There are fences, and behind those fences there's a lot of space. So if there's something going to happen and there's a bomb exploding or someone shooting, or we have quite some space for people to go to. Yeah.
You have to have a permission for the festival.
Yeah.
And there's also an emergency plan for if something like this happened.
Yeah.
The gemeente Groningen was good with it.
Yeah.
Gave you the permission.
Yeah.
It still needed half an hour to walk away.
Yeah.
Did you evaluate it with the?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But it's no problem. It's no problem if it takes half an hour. It's a problem if people are going to push and there's a bottleneck. So if people are getting wet because of the rain, we don't care. But it is a problem if there's a bottleneck. If people can't walk, if they walk, it's no problem. But besides that, there's this ring, the ring of the city ring. But all the things you see is green is wood. So if there's a real problem, you go into the wood. There's no problem. But people want to go to the place where they came to the festival, and all the people are coming through this entrance where their bikes are, and they always want their bikes to go home. But if there's a really big problem, they can flee everywhere. We have an 80 pages permit from the government, and we talk 3 or 4 times before the May the 5th with the police, with the fire departments and the community of Groningen to see if everything is going well. But it costs us a lot of time, money and attention.
Do you often need to adjust the plan?
No. But the advantage is that we are in this area during the last 16 years. So we know what's the advantage and the disadvantage of some places. So every year we adjust at some place, some things. Last year was a bit overcrowded. There were too much people. And we expect that it can happen the next years also. Because next year it's a Friday, and it's a Saturday, and it's a Sunday. So it's almost like a holiday for people to come. So we expect more people. And we are trying we are looking for a place in the park, because the park is much bigger than you can see here on the map. It's 10 times bigger. We are looking for a place to make a new area for a stage. We want to move the Plein van de Vrijheid to another place. But it's very difficult. Now the police has forbidden us to go to another area because they think the route for ambulances and fire departments' cars is not safe enough. It's not good enough. It's only an in and not an out. So it's difficult. But in general, this area, this Stadspark in Groningen, is very useful for us. We have different areas, which is very good. It's not one place. In Zwolle, for instance, you have quite a small place which is very crowded with one very big stage, and we have the possibility to spread more. So we like that because we have different kind of people who like different kind of music, and it's also more secure for the audience to come to the festival. We had a problem last year also with the water, because we are obliged with the gemeente Groningen to give free water to people if it's quite hot, but there's no water in the park. So there is a bit of water. So next year we have to take care of more points where you can fill your dopper or can with water. It's very complicated to organize that, but we will do that. It's also a big problem for us is to take care of enough toilets. We have about 175 toilets, but it's still not enough because a lot of people have to go to the loo. First we have to earn the money, and then we can pay more toilets. Last year we had a very good year, so we can take care for more toilets, and more toilets also means more selling more drinks, because a lot of people think that if there's not enough toilets, they drink less. So the more toilets we have, the more beer we can sell.
You have a lot of wood.
What?
You have a lot of wood.
Yeah. Okay. About the PR. Hoe zit het met de tijd eigenlijk? Okay. About the PR, it's very easy to make to do marketing for May the 5th. The date is always very simple for people to remember. It's always on May the 5th. It's a national thing that you do with a provincial accent. So we spend only 1.5% of our budget for prints, websites, movies, etc. We exist 25 years, so people know we are there. We are on the same place the last 16 years, so that's easy to communicate. We are doing almost everything online and almost no more print. We give some people who want to the time schedule and some rules of the festival when they enter. We only have a few billboards in the city and in the province to make the people to attend the people, to make attention of our festival. So it's quite easy, but the online marketing has given us a lot of possibilities. When we interrupted our festival in 2015 because of the weather, in 20 minutes 40 till 50,000 people knew that the program has been cancelled because of Twitter, Facebook, internet. Our messages were copied by the police, the local TV station, etc. So it's amazing to see how you can discuss or give your message to a lot of people in a very short time. 20 or 25 years it was impossible to tell the people. That's about it. Questions? Yeah.
Yes. Is there a specific model that you're using for the process?
Yes, we have. Yes, a few years ago we started to with the 14 festivals in Holland. They are a kind of family. There is a relationship between our festival in Assen and Leeuwarden and Amsterdam and Rotterdam. So we asked the national committee, and we wanted ourselves to make the signage, the design of the posters, of the affiches, not the same but alike. And I think that was a very good thing, because if you live, not everybody is living in the hometown of a festival, and I don't care if people are going to Groningen, Assen or Leeuwarden. So if we show everybody we are a family, it's better for all of them. And I even want that are more festivals than the 14 in Groningen, in the Netherlands, because in Alkmaar, in Enschede and Eindhoven there are a lot of people. There are also some of them have bevrijdingsfestivals also, but not official ones. But I think there are more possibilities for other cities to organize a festival. It could be at least 25, I think. And it would be nice if even not 1 but 2 million people are attending the festivals. Yes?
Are there certain steps that you take by the creation of the festival? Like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and the event is happening?
Yeah, in a way, but we have the advantage that we can copy-paste almost everything of our last festival. Because we have to adjust some things. And step 1 is always starting at May the 5th of the year before. I am looking and other people are looking what is going well, what's going wrong, and what do we have to change. So we are evaluating, and evaluating means at the same time what do we have to do next year to make a better festival. And then we start, of course, you have to see what the financial possibilities are, because that's, for us, it's difficult. We don't sell tickets, so we already know in the summer what the budget is. We can make the budget sometimes more by asking foundations, other foundations to help us, but that's the limit. So, and we in September I'm making the plan of the next year and trying what we are going to change, we're going to add, we're going to skip, and going to make better. Yeah?
Are there things in the festival that the festival can't decide itself because of the overall Bevrijdingsfestival?
No. We decided we are responsible for our own festival. But we do know we are a family, so where we can help other festivals we will do. We sit together 6 times a year and talk about things we can do in common. For instance, the projects of Mensen, things like that is now going to spread over other festivals. But we are responsible for our own festival. Yeah. Yep.
Do you work all the year?
I'm the only one who's working all the year for the festival. But I'm not paying by the hour, I'm just having a fee for organizing the festival. And it's of course not full-time. Now, for instance, it's not full-time. I'm just, I think, 1 or 2 days a week, I'm just working on for the festival.
When are you completely done? You have everything in order. How many weeks or days before the festival?
1 day.
1 day?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's any...
What do you mean? Because of course we are, in the morning of May the 5th we still have to do organize things. But in plan, I think in February or so we know what we're going to do. Yep. Anything else? Yep.
How did you get this job? What's your career path?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. There, when I was studying, it's a long time ago, there was not such an education like you have now. Nothing. So I studied history and history of art in Groningen. And that's not education which has guaranteed jobs. Even not in that time, probably now not even so. But so it was very difficult to get work, and I started doing nothing when I was graduated from the university. And after a year, I wanted to do something, and because of some coincidence, people asking me to organize some things, I realized that was the thing I could do very well. So I didn't know that before, but I can organize. Sometimes I don't know why, but it's just part of me. So when I discovered that I was good at organizing, I started a small company of my own. And now from that point, because I was one of, there were not many people who were having small companies of their own who could organize projects, festivals, etc. Don't forget, this whole business is quite new. 30 years ago, the summer festivals, or there were maybe 1 or 2 or 3 festivals in Holland. And now there are probably 800 festivals. People are spending much more money on festivals, on music, on culture than 30 years ago. So it's a booming business, maybe even more than ICT. So I was lucky.
And do you have any personal goals or goals for the festival?
Yeah, for the festival, it's the goal is to be the best festival of the Bevrijdingsfestivals. But I think, we are now already, but we have to work on that to keep it like that. And for me, it's the most interesting thing to do is to discover new things, to do new things, to meet new people, to develop, etc. If we're not going to develop as a festival, it will be boring. So I hope every year there will be some kind of surprise. No more questions? Yeah? Okay.
If you want to work at the festival, how does that work?
Yeah, well, you have to send an email to the personnel officer, and you can.
Yeah, but is that only for volunteering, or you can also go higher than that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if you can do, if you have if you have a bit of experience, or if you know how, or you have a good letter, if you want to develop yourself, there are possibilities, of course. Yeah. There are a lot of young people who we are working with who are starting their career and doing things in the festivals. So you're welcome. You can send an email. Okay. So,
thank you
okay.
very much. Thank you.
Ja, dank je. Dank je. Oké, thank you very much. Oké.
Hartstikke bedankt.
Yep. Wat informeel mag ook nog hoor. Maar...
Ik weet niet. Wat? Moet ik een eind doen? Ik dacht dat jij dat ging doen. Well, if you liked the guest lecture today, then there will be another one. And we'll announce the next guest lecture soon, so check our Facebook page. It's about, yeah. It's about music management. Yeah. Check our